Hey everyone, Kevin here. So many thousands of teachers are currently starting their first weeks of school right about now, or very soon at least, and a lot of them really don't want to. They feel stuck, have nothing lined up, and already signed their intent to return forms, so they feel as if they have no choice but to go back to the classroom. If you are one such educator and are listening to this right now, well, today's video is definitely for you because I'm going to cover the concept of breaking a teaching contract. And let me tell you, it isn't terribly complicated, but there are things you need to be aware of prior to doing it. Whether you want to do it right now as school is beginning or partway through the school year, there are things you need to consider before making that really important decision. To begin with, you have been conditioned to think that this is somehow a taboo topic and that it is a thing you just cannot do without serious ramifications because administrators and school districts repeatedly hold contracts over your head and threaten you with legal action if you break one. This is unfortunately only reinforced by, unfortunately, teacher unions. Because as we said in numerous podcast episodes, most notably one we did with Stephen Guerriero nearly a year ago now, teacher unions are there to uphold the contract, not defend you. They aren't your friend. As a result, many teachers are inherently afraid to up and leave mid-year, even when they are suffering from crippling levels of stress and mental health issues. When in the face of such difficulties, you probably are wondering where to even start this process, and that's what I want to help you with today. Now, keep in mind, this isn't legal advice. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm speaking from experience here. Most importantly, though, the first place to start, you need to check your school district's policies. Know who you need to talk to if it comes down to breaking your contract, what paperwork is involved, and the things you have to physically do to turn over your classroom and students to another teacher, especially considering how the person who replaces you these days is unlikely to be qualified due to how many certifications and exams have been removed to allow subpar educators into the profession to fill teacher vacancies. There are also numerous loopholes that you can sometimes take advantage of. That's what I did anyway. I was so burned out and suffering from crippling depression that my doctor wrote me out on a stress leave for the remainder of the school year, so I was still getting paid, albeit at a reduced rate, until my contract ended because I was still employed, but just on medical leave. So there are potential options to keep in mind there. Secondly, do not worry about district repercussions. This is the one I always have difficulty getting teachers to wrap their mind around. Like I said earlier, you have been conditioned to think you will have serious legal ramifications for breaking a contract, but realistically, you won't. I'm sure you've all heard it from administrators at some point, like I have. You are going to lose your licensures. You are going to get fined. Oh, and you are going to burn so many bridges doing this. And you know what my response is to all of those statements? So what? If you want out and to change careers, does it really matter if you lose your teaching certifications and licensures? You aren't going to be teaching anymore anyway. It makes no impact to your career whatsoever. Plus, this virtually never happens. Districts don't want you to know how they actually have to go to the state and essentially commit a lot of time and submit loads of paperwork to suspend your certifications. And most don't actually care enough to do that in the first place. They say these things as scare tactics, sure, because they want to get you to stay, rather than something that they will actually do. You will be amazed how often they don't do these things when you actually call their bluff because they just can't be bothered to. They don't have the time. Now, you might get a fine. Yes, that probably will happen. Sometimes you have to pay the difference from when you leave through the end of the month or the year for tax reasons, but that is why I said first, know your district guidelines. Still, same concept here though. If you really need to get out, Is a fine that, again, has no impact on your career really going to make any bit of difference to you? The worst you would get labeled as by a school district is a person who committed job abandonment, but you aren't asking them for a reference or something. So, again, I asked you, who cares? And all of that leads right into the idea of burning bridges. I mean, I understand not wanting to do that, of course, but I can't stress this enough. You aren't going to be a teacher anymore. It doesn't matter in the long run and will have zero effect on you. Now, finally, you don't have to have something lined up when you leave. Most will not. Now, I recommend that you do have something lined up or at least have enough money saved up in the event that you are looking for a job for a while or need to fund your upskilling. So don't forget to plan for those eventualities. But if you need to get out, then just get out. You aren't doing you or the students any good trying to stay in a career that is making you miserable and giving you crippling mental health issues. It is not going to help staying any longer. Just get out. Break that contract and get out. And there's always a massive community of people like me who are here to help you through that process. See you next time.